It started with a small inconvenience, or so Karen called it. I came home one afternoon and noticed a clean rectangular cut in the thick hedge that had lined my property for decades. That hedge wasn't just a decorative row of shrubs. It was a living privacy wall, planted by my grandfather to keep the ranch secluded and quiet. Yet there it was, a human-sized gap, cleanly trimmed with shears, right between my yard and Karen's. And wouldn't you know it, Karen's kids and her little posse of HOA guests were walking straight through it like it was a public sidewalk. "Excuse me," I called out from my porch. "What exactly are you doing?" Karen turned, sipping a glass of wine like she was hosting a garden tour. "Oh, relax," she said. "We needed a shortcut to the community park. Your hedge was in the way, so I fixed it. Now everyone can pass through easily. You should thank me." My blood boiled, but I kept my cool. "That hedge is on my property. You don't get to cut into it like it's yours." She waved her hand dismissively. "It's just a hedge. Stop being dramatic." Then she turned back to her guests, laughing like I was some cranky neighbor she'd just shut down. That was the moment I decided if Karen wanted a shortcut, I'd give her one she'd never forget. The next week, while Karen flaunted her new pathway, I called a contractor. Within days, the gap in the hedge was replaced, not with another row of shrubs, but with a 10-foot-tall iron fence. Black, spiked, and impenetrable. The kind you'd see around a fortress. I didn't stop there. I installed motion sensor lights and cameras facing directly at the new gate. Every time someone even tried to approach, the lights would flare on like stadium floodlights, and the cameras would send me a live feed to my phone. When Karen saw it for the first time, her jaw nearly hit the ground. "What is that?" she shrieked, pointing at the towering iron wall. "That," I said, smiling, "is a fence on my property, replacing the hedge you destroyed." Her face turned red. "You can't do this. It ruins the neighborhood's aesthetic. The HOA won't allow it." I chuckled. "See, that's the thing. My property isn't under your HOA. You have no say. But if you'd like, I can file a complaint with the sheriff for vandalism since you admitted to cutting down my hedge." Karen sputtered, grasping for excuses. It was community improvement." "Great," I said. "Then the community can improve itself by walking the long way around." But here's where it got better. A week later, Karen hosted a backyard party. Music, guests, the whole 9 yards. Inevitably, a group of kids tried using the shortcut. The moment they reached the fence, the motion sensor lights snapped on, bathing them in bright white light. Then, a deep automated voice boomed from the speaker I'd installed. "Warning. Trespassers will be prosecuted." The kids screamed and bolted. Drinks spilled, chairs tipped over, and the entire party turned into chaos as people scrambled, thinking they'd been caught in some kind of high-security sting operation. Karen was humiliated. She stormed over later that night, banging on my door. "You embarrassed me in front of all my friends," she screeched. "No," I said calmly. "You embarrassed yourself when you destroyed my hedge. Actions have consequences." She threatened to call the cops. I handed her my phone. "Go ahead. I'll show them the footage of you cutting my hedge, plus the trespassing. They might fine you, or arrest you." Her eyes narrowed, but she didn't dial. A month later, Karen tried one last stunt. She showed up with an HOA violation notice, claiming my iron fence wasn't approved. I burst out laughing. "Karen," I said, "let me explain this one last time. I'm not part of your HOA. Your rules don't apply to me. But if you want to play paperwork games, here's mine." I handed her an invoice, $14,600. The cost of the iron fence, the security system, and the landscaping repairs. I'd already filed a claim in small claims court for property damage. With all the video evidence, she didn't stand a chance. When the ruling came down, the judge ordered Karen to pay. The cherry on top? Part of the judgment included a court-ordered injunction forbidding her or any of her guests from entering my property without my permission. The shortcut she thought she created? Gone forever. Now, every time Karen walks past that towering iron fence, she glares at it like it's mocking her. And in a way, it is. because every time those motion lights click on, they remind her of one simple truth. She thought she could cut corners. Instead, she cut herself out of my property for good.